So unfortunately you can't really hear me in this clip because I was talking quietly so as not to wake Holly because she needed her sleep. But what I'm trying to explain is that we'd had a bit of a scare. I'd found a rash on Holly after she'd become unwell very quickly during the night, and I found her rash that wouldn't go away with the classic glass blanch test. So I'd taken her into A&E this day, where they'd decided to keep her in and do some tests and try and find out if it was meningitis, which she had because she was showing all the symptoms for it, or whether it was just some other virus. So she'd been through quite a day of it here, and as you can see, she's fallen asleep, fast asleep in the background, trying to get herself better because she was really, really, really unwell. What are you doing, Hollie?
I'm just about to have some of my Rice Krispies. Mummy.
Are you, Daddy?
Yeah, because I love my Rice Krispies. You know, and it would be... hello? Excuse me, what are you doing? Are you eating Daddy's Rice Krispies? And how come you're eating... Mummy?
Yes?
Someone's eating my Rice Krispies.
Are they nice, Hollie?
Nom
nom nom nom.
In fact, someone's still eating my Rice Krispies. Wait a second. Oh, there's a nice big... I've got a nice big spoonful there, Mummy, so I'll be able to eat all of them, really.
Oh, it's nice to see you eating, Hollie.
Mummy?
Are they delicious?
It's okay.
Don't tell Daddy you're pinching them.
This time, Mummy, it's a nice big spoonful. There's no one here, and I'll be very safe to have my...
So we're back in the hospital. Poor Hollie's hooked up to the antibiotic drip again, which is feeding into her hand. But they're very kindly, it's probably about 5:30, and they're very kindly giving her some food. So she's got chicken nuggets, beans, but she's starting with the ice cream. And while she's poorly, all rules are out of the window, so she's allowed the ice cream first, and then the chicken nugget and beans afterwards. Just grateful she's getting better, to be honest. So this is what she's hooked up to, that runs through this pipe, around here, and into your hand, doesn't it? And then it goes into your system. It's finally time to go and get Hollie's cannula and bandage off her hand. She's been so brave. She's had it on since Monday. It's now Sunday, so basically she's got a needle stuck into her hand. She's got a bandage wrapped around it during the day so they can put the IV antibiotics into her. And then it must hurt, but she's been so brave about it. And she's had this like wadded hand for a week because they put the bandage on nice and thick to protect it. But we're finally going to go and get her last IV drops done, and then after that, hopefully, fingers crossed, they're going to discharge us, and then she can get that off her hand, and hopefully she's fully better. So pleased, such a relief. So it's been a frantic, hectic, sleepless night, week, and I'm actually not sorry. It's over, and I've got my little girl back, and she's happy and healthy and mended. I am very, very aware it could have gone the other way. I mean, the mere word meningitis, it sends a shudder down any parent's spine. Touch wood. She got a mild dose. She responded brilliantly to the antibiotics, and we caught it in time. Like I say, it could have been a very different story, and I know for some parents it is, and I don't even know what to say in those sorts of circumstances, because I know what my week's been like. It's been a tough, rough week, and like I say, we got off rightly, and Hollie's been brave little soldier. But yeah, been emotional. And not a nice, I don't know what it is, disease, I don't know what you call it, lurgy, I just don't know what it is, but it's a nasty, nasty thing. And like I say, we got let off lightly, and I'm delighted, obviously. But yeah, it does make you appreciate how things can change in the blink of an eye. And to really value those little kiddies. So hold them close tonight. And may none of your kids, if you've got kids, if you're watching this, may none of them ever have to see the inside of a hospital. And if they do, may they get out quickly and healthily. And yeah, not good. But like I said, hopefully good news today, because we're taking her to put an end to our little saga of it anyway. So happy days on that front. So I'm going to take it to the hospital now and get it over with. See you later. What are we going to go and do? Show me your hand. The other one. What are we going to go and do?
Take them off.
We're going to go to hospital and get it taken off. Would you like that? You want a drink and you're hungry? You've just had a drink and food. I thought you'd be excited. Should we go?
Yes. Mama, come with me.
Oh, Benjamin's going to go swimming.
Mama, come with me.
Benjamin's going
Oh,
swimming.
you have this. No.
Oh.
Take that. No.
Somebody tired and grumpy? You've just eaten. Come on then, let's go to the hospital. So we're here at the hospital. Clearly, the excitement of having her bandage off all got a little bit too much, and she's fallen asleep on the way here. But look, this is what she's had to put up with for the last week on her hand. So we've come to have it taken off and hopefully get discharged from the hospital. So I'm pleased for her. She must have had enough. She must be fed up, but she's been a little brave trooper. So I just realised, rewind, it's been such a frantic week and we've had that much going on. I've not actually told you guys how it all started. So if you saw my last video, you'll see at the end of the video that Hollie very suddenly got very, very sick. She developed a high fever and just went really lethargic. And just in general, she just went really, really downhill and under weather. So I was a bit worried about her that night, but just put her to bed and gave her some Calpol, as you do. And then the next morning, I noticed this rash on her hand, like a purple blood spot rash, and it was underneath the skin. And immediately I knew it wasn't a good look, and I went into panic mode, burst into tears, rang the doctors, who had no spare appointments. I explained it was emergency and they still had no spare appointments, which actually was probably a good thing, because I think they would probably have sent me to accident and emergency anyway. So got my initial emotional outburst out of the way, just threw a couple of items in a bag. Benjamin's on school holiday, so he had to come, so I threw them both in the car and drove straight here to the A&E department, where we got seen quite quickly by one consultant, and he was a bit umming and ahhing, he wasn't too sure, so he got his boss to come and have a look. So his boss came and had a look, and he was a bit umming and ahhing, he wasn't too sure. By this time, the purpley rash had gone into like a aggressive, angry looking red rash. Like a nettle sting rash, and the consultants that we'd just seen sort of said that that was probably her body reacting to the initial rash and trying to attack it, basically. So these consultants weren't too sure what to do, so they sent us to the children's ward to see a paediatrician. So we saw a paediatrician and he wasn't sure, so he had us to see somebody else, which was the registrar. She literally took one look and then whisked us off into like a cubicle quarantine room and sent Hollie down for some bloods to try and work out what it was. So this whole process up to now had taken about, gosh, 4 or 5 hours. and in this time the rash had spread a little bit onto her body as well. So yeah, it was a bit of a frantic few hours. And then from there, while we were waiting for the bloods, they made us up a bed and basically said that it looked like we'd be staying the night. And she had this cannula in her hand, and then the bloods came back after just a couple of hours, and they showed that she had really high white blood cells and also a really high count of CRP, I think it's called, which I'd never heard of, which in normal people it's like 10 or less, but Hollie's were like at about 150. They're in the 150s anyway. I think it was about 157 they said, which I don't really know what they are, but considering normal people it's at less than 10, I was like, oh gosh, that's not good. So from these results, they got her on the IV drip using the cannula in her hand and started the antibiotics straight away. By now, it was probably about 10 o'clock at night, so she was asleep, bless her, but she soon got woken up with all the prodding and poking. And then a nurse came in throughout the night. I was in the bed next to Hollie, and then a nurse came in throughout the night, probably every half hour to an hour, to check her temperatures, to check that the rash hadn't spread, to check her blood rate, her oxygen rates, etc, etc. And just to keep a general eye on her. But I noticed probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I noticed a change in like her breathing and everything. She just seemed a lot more comfortable and settled and happier. And I think the antibiotics were just starting to take effect around that time. And then come the morning, she still had the rash, but it was a lot fainter. And she just seemed a lot happier in herself. But of course, fantastic, she responded really well to the antibiotics, but of course you can't just accept that, and she had to finish the course of antibiotics. So we've been coming to hospital every day for the last week to have the antibiotics. So it's been a bit of a palaver, because it's been like a 3-hour round trip to drive here, because we don't live that local, for her then to sit for an hour to have these antibiotics drip fed into her, which hasn't been fun, and then go home. But like I say, needs must. Glad she reacted the way she did to them, so happy days. And now, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're at the end of the meningitis saga and things can return to normal. Hi!
Right.
Yeah, thanks. We are excited.
Last one.
Still be working. Fingers crossed.
It's been a bit dodgy the past couple of days, hasn't it?
Yeah. Although they did take it all off completely yesterday and put all these and once they did that it wasn't too bad.
Oh, okay, good. Have a little look then.
Was it yesterday? I thought it was 2 days. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I remember them saying I was in yesterday.
I did a bit of avocado for lunch.
And it was Thursday.
Avocado stain, isn't it?
So is this the same one she's had all week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's how well then. I'm always in the last few days.
Exactly. But don't touch my hand.
Oh. Is it really hurting?
Does that hurt? Alright, puppy. Alright, alright. I spoke too soon.
Can I have another look? I think it's, yeah, I can see it. Okay, I'm stopping, I'm stopping.
All stopped.
All done. Alright. Yeah, I think it was something that it's falling around there.
Alright, she
Um,
stopped, sweetheart, she stopped.
Let me speak to the doctor then and see what he wants to do.
Okay.
Alright. Let me wrap it back up a sec so you don't knock it. Yeah.
Is it just not going into...
It's flushing okay, but it looks like it's swelling up a bit as I push it in, so I think it's got on that one. I think it's flushy. And plus with the screaming as well, it's obviously hurting us, so
Okay, all stopped.
we won't use it.
All stopped.
All stopped.
That's a shame. The last antibiotic, and the candula's gone. You can hear the scream. It's hurting her this time. Right, the nurse says we're going to go and see. I have to put another candula in to give her a last dose. I have to give her a jab into a muscle. That last option's my favourite. You okay? She's been through so much, poor. Just watching the aura. So, the nurse has just been in, and we're for the last dose, which she has to have, unfortunately. We're going for the jab. I'm not thrilled about it. It was either that or another cannula. And since there's only one last dose, at least the jab will be quick and over with. Hopefully relatively painless. They put a numbing agent in it apparently. Whereas to put another cannula in. It is quite a lot of clapping.
Stop!
Because it is just one last dose. At least the jab it's over and done with.
Mom!
Just hope I've made the right decision for her. Poor love. You've been through it, haven't you? You've been through it. Just had the jab. The candula's gone out of the hand. Yay! And there's a big plaster on the thigh where the jab went in. There are a few tears, as you'd expect. But you were a big brave girl, weren't you? Yay! And plasters. The groovy plasters. Look, they've got animals on them. We've got an elephant, another elephant, a cow, a turtle, another cow. Groovy animals, aren't they? Such a big brave girl. Jabs aren't nice. Oh, and here we've got a whale, a chicken, a camel, penguin, and an elephant.
How about that?
And what's that? I think that's the head of an elephant. Really groovy plasters. Really groovy plasters.
Stop!
Yes, they are.
I'm gonna put it
I've not got a plaster, have I?
Why?
I'm not special like you.
Why?
Oh, I've not been as brave as you.
Why?
You're a big brave girl.
Yeah. Not you.
Not me, no.
Why?